What is going on, my good people? This is your main man Ben here, and we got another tech reviews, guys. Literally, it's not a new review, but in the past, before I jumped into the full blown out podcasting, I have been using this one device, namely the Zoom H6. Now, this device is amazing. It's my main driver for everything that I need, that I use for videography, I use for podcasting. Sometimes when I ride the bicycle in the mountains, and if I, or in the trail, I like to get some ambient sound. I just carry this and get some nature sound. And there's a whole lot of things why you would want to have a digital voice recorder. It's very handy. You can just grab it and go. There's a lot of different attachment, mainly this one, the X and Y capsule, which is you want to interview, you can just pop it in. You can also tilt this into different degrees. There's 90 degrees, and you can tilt it to 120 degrees, and that's just part of it. There's like the ball one, I didn't have that since I bought the black version when it came out almost 2 years ago, and this is the only one that came into it. Now, mainly before I jumped into the Podtrak P8, nobody did a comparison on between Zoom H6 versus the Podtrak P8. Mind you, we are recording at the Podtrak P8 right now, and we're using a shotgun mic, just for the record. The Zoom H6 can be set into 48 kilohertz. Mainly, it's the more Blu-ray quality audio that you can get into the audio realm. The Zoom Podtrak P8 only has a 44.1 kilohertz, which is the highest that it has. Now, it's kind of weird because the Podtrak P8, it's so new. They don't have that 48 kilohertz, whereas the counterpart of the Podtrak P8, the Zoom Caster Pro, which is a device as well that looks like the Podtrak P8, it came in earlier with it, and it has 48 kilohertz. That's the weirdest part of this. So I got an idea maybe why Zoom did not put a 48 kilohertz on the Podtrak P8, because it might probably just kill this type of lineup in its product to sell. The main goal of this video is for you to decide if it's worth it to own a Podtrak P8 if you already have an H6, because that was the main dilemma that I faced before getting the Podtrak P8. And since I have a couple more episodes already that I have put into the Podtrak P8, I think I have enough experience to give you my 2 cents in its pros and cons. So let's get into it. So here's going to be the test that we're going to make. We're going to record both devices simultaneously. So all of this are rolling in the same time. This is the most that I've did in my entire life. So each of this one has their own audio system. The Rode PROCASTER is tethered to the Podtrak P8. The PODMIC is tethered to the Zoom H6. So I don't have a similar microphone, but if you understand, this is the older model. It's like 8 years old versus paired to a newer, Podtrak P8, you can see. And the PODMIC is tethered with the H6. So basically PODMIC is like 2 years old, and H6 black version is almost the same time. This is going to be the main purpose of podcasters. Now, the obvious reasons for the H6 is that if you have guests, you're going to need this type of adapters. Now, these adapters are for headphones. Problem with this is when you plug it in where the headphones are tethered right now, it doesn't have the same level. You don't have a control for that one. And I'll be honest with you, it's not the strongest. And on top of that, you won't be able to control the volume of it, obviously, because it's a digital voice recorder. Although it's highly capable and possible use of it is not, it's not like impossible. You can still use it, although the levels won't be able to control. Podtrak P8, on the other hand, 6 different headphones You have some controls for your volumes. On top of that, you have this controls beside the on-air button here that you can just click on. And once you click that one, you won't be able to hear anything in your guest's line, or in, for example, line 2, line 3. You can isolate those, and that's big for podcasting. I know I don't have a lot, maybe just one person in the studio because it's small, pandemic and all that stuff, but that's big if you are in a bigger environment and you want to miss out those persons that's coughing and you don't want to hear it, or you don't want to share those, you don't want to share those coughing noise around your other guest, then you don't have that capability on the H6. I mean, it's little things, little minor details that you should be able to see when you're podcasting and live, stream. That's going to be big. Both devices can be powered with batteries, which I like. Double A batteries, amazing. Powered with sound bank. In fact, I'm powering the H6 with the sound bank all the time. I also tried that in the P8, but the P8 literally stays in the studio. It's not going to leave. Also, guys, on the Podtrak P8, there is a BTA5 or BTA2 Bluetooth device. It's $50. I did not get that because this deal that I got on the Podtrak P8 is a much, much better deal that you won't catch. I won't say the price. I'll say the price. I got the Podtrak P8 for around $240. I know, right? That was a Black Friday deal, and it's amazing. But moving on, I got this thing. It's a wire that you can just plug it into the BTA2, plug the end part of the other side to your phone. Then voila, you can do Skype, call, whatever you want. And on top of that, on the Podtrak P8, you can do, they automatically does the mix and minus in here. So there's no echoes, reverb. If you have a lot of people that's calling or in that line, there's no echoes. There's no like going in with each other. For example, you have 5 people talking in your chat group in Messenger or Zoom. It doesn't have that bad echo or reverb that goes to each other, the levels. It does it automatically. However, in H6, it doesn't do that. You got to understand, though, you have to plug in the other side of the end plug of the wire to the auxiliary. So you got to have this, let me remove that real quick, this guy, and plug it in here. Connect it to this wire to your phone. That way, you're going to have a sound bank. Now, if you want a sound bank or sound effects, you're going to have to deal with that in the H6. There's no other way around it. That way you can do, jingles and all that stuff, recordings of the videos and all that. You're going to have to do that on the H6. There's no other way around it. Or you can get other devices like a soundboard or a mix board that you can just record and all that. But, the price is going to pile up because accessories, more wires. If you introduce more wires and more connections, then you're going to have to deal with possible issues later on. And that's critical if you have a podcast episode, because it's going to be hard for you to edit that. It's going to be hard for you to make corrections later because you don't want to call back your guest. Oh, we missed something out on this episode and I messed that up and we have to redo the episode. You can't just do that. It doesn't really work out like that. On the other hand, in the Podtrak P8, if I just click this, I'll show you real quick, and we're gonna do some stuff in here. Yeah, once upon a time, I don't have the Podtrak P8 in my life, but you know what? I decided to buy one so that it'll make my life a little bit more easier. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I mean, that's how you do it on the Podtrak P8. There's a built-in sound pad in here, and there's like 3, 6, 9 times 4. Is it 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 9, 18, 27, 36 sounds that you can put in here in your sound pad. On the top of that, you can also use this. So it's just too much thing, man. 36 pads. If you want, you can record here in your Podtrak P8, then put it in your sound pad later. You do that everything in the device. You don't need a computer to do that. If you conduct an interview a while ago, for example, if you interview an athlete or some important person, you record it here, then you can just edit it and cut it later and put it in your SoundPad. And if you have another episode you want to recall, you just press that in there and just listen and you share. These are the versatilities and in my own opinion, what you were paying for the Podtrak P8. If you're dedicated on podcasting itself, this is the one. But on the other hand, on the H6, if you like on the go, like what I mentioned, if you want to go to conferences, meetings, you can just put it in there and just record it. Leave it there and call it a day. You have those 2 hours, 3 hours talks. You have a copy of it. On top of that, I'll be honest with you, this thing is amazing. The H6, I have recorded raps in it, voiceover, like, reading books and putting it into YouTube or some audiobooks and all that stuff. 48 kilohertz is different. And in my own opinion, if you want that extra headroom to edit, 48 kilohertz will give you an extra room for, if you have like heavy duty editing for sound, you have that extra oomph to make more mistakes and fix it later. Although we don't want that, because we want the recordings to be as perfect as we can, That's why you got this ambient room. You got the foam in here, you got some sound panels here. You want to record clean ahead of time before, fixing the software, because that's why post-process is the last step for that one. But other than that, I believe that these two devices have their own specialties. If you're in the fence and, dedicated podcasting is what you're focused on, go check out the Podtrak P4, or, if you want a long-term investment, P8 is amazing. But if you want like a content creators, videography, you want Zoom meetings and conferences, students on the go, the H6 is a legend. That's why it's been in the market for so long. And I think no one's going to replace this anytime soon. But I give you my conclusion in this too. We'll see. So the big question is, should you buy a Podtrak P8 if you already own an H6? My real answer for that one is it really depends on how serious you are in your podcasting. This is highly capable. I lived to it for more than a year. I think I produced at least 50 episodes in this one, which I was so happy and glad. But as soon as I progress and feel like, annually, if you look at the editing time that you put in extracting the WAV file of the H6 and putting it into Audacity and throwing in your, filters, your noise reduction, your noise gate, compressor, filters, and then your limiters and all that good stuff. And if you pile that up in 1 year, it costs a lot of time to do that before you go into the MP3 file as an end product. It eliminates that process for the Podtrak P8. That's the main reason I bought it. On top of that, I barely have like one guest in my studio. But the mix and minus capacity of the Podtrak P8, using phones and effects in the sound pads, it's in a class of its own. This is like side by side with the PROCASTER Pro, minus it cannot do the 48.1 kilohertz. If Zoom decided to do that, this is going to change a lot of things. So far, there's only one update for the Podtrak P8, and we already did that, but still trapped in 44.1 kilohertz realm. Other than that, for podcasting, 44.1 kilohertz is more than what I need, I would say as well. In quality wise, with most podcasters out there, it's more than what we need that we can hear. 20,000 kilohertz is the most human hearing can recognize and appreciate. 44.1 kilohertz is plenty. However, H6 is a beast. I have produced 50 episodes in this one, and it's amazing. You can do a lot of things. If you want to tinker about podcasting, you can do that. This guy right here specifically is very useful for auxiliary. You can put your sound pads in there using your phone, your iPad with the TRS cable. Automatic, you got that sound pad. But other than that, you have to be careful because it doesn't have that mix and minus capacity as the Zoom Podtrak P8, because you might have that, you know, overpowering sound, and they fight on each other, and then it kind of like destroys it if you're not careful with it. Also, the main advantage of this one is mainly its sole purpose, portability. If you go to, you know, seminars, attend some conferences, you can just record easy. On top of that, there's a lot of adapters in there, although it's not cheap. It's very expensive, to be honest. But the portability that you can just bring this and grab and go, put it in a little case, and then put it in your backpack versus the big one, the Podtrak P8. Going back, if you're a dedicated podcaster, I would go straight up to the Podtrak P8 or P4, which is more catered for the podcasters. They got more softwares in there that is, you know, catered towards sound effects, other lines for your guests, which is far more superior and cut those post-processing time. This one, however, if you're a content creator, you go for field recordings. You know, if you want to go to the ocean, record some seashore crashing waves in the sand, or go into a mountain or a volcano and listen to those rumbling noise of the ground and record a lot of awesome stuff. This is the one. This is high quality 48.1 kilohertz. That's all you need. This guy right here. But for me, I'm gonna keep both and I'm gonna keep on recording, man, because I like sounds, and each and every day it amazes me what I can record and produce using these tools. And once again, we are so spoiled in this generation. And yep, that'll be it for today, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Always remember, God is good all the time. This is your main boy. Peace out.